My name is Nora. I'm a part-time housewife who has reached the age of 60th. I transformed my older-looking face with the help of a friend who's a beautician. It's just about an old woman putting on thick makeup. The words of a mean old-timer coworker who always despised me and made fun of me turned into a weapon and hit her right back. My name is Nora. I finally turned 60 last month. In the past, turning 60 meant you were already a grandma or a grandpa, sitting on the porch with a cat on your lap drinking tea. But now that I've reached 60, it doesn't feel like that at all. I'm working part-time at a local sushi restaurant chain actively, and my husband, who's 2 years older, retires at the age of 65. So we still feel like we're in our middle age. Our 2 kids, Emily and Jake, are married and have moved out. We have 3 grandchildren. When my daughter or son visits with their kids and I hear them call me grandma, it hits me that I'm a grandma. But most of the time, I don't feel old at all. I guess that's how it is for most people. Sure, I don't have the strength and energy I used to have, but the sushi restaurant where I work is a slightly less famous chain that focuses on quality rather than price. I wash dishes and make side dishes other than sushi in the kitchen there. Apart from the manager and 3 full-time, all the other workers are part-timers or students. The staff consists mainly of part-time workers in their 20s to 60s and high school students working part-time. There's a high turnover among the high school students, but some of the housewife part-timers have been there for a long time. I've been working there for 5 years. The oldest staff member is a part-timer named Sarah, who's 45 and has been with the store since it opened 15 years ago. The restaurant managers tend to change frequently. Some managers get prompted to higher positions in the company if they do well, while others get transferred to other underperforming stores. It's not strange for a manager to change every few years. Though it's not something you can say out loud, some people have been removed from office due to minor scandals. Because of this, Sarah has been here longer than any manager. Sarah's the one causing me trouble. To summarize, she's someone who loves to control others. She quickly sorts people into those she sees as above her and those she sees as below her, treating the former with smiles and the latter with disrespect. When I first met her, I was 55 and she was 40. She had a well-defined face with thick makeup, giving me the impression of a strong-willed person. You're 55, Nora? You look older. I know I have an older-looking face. I hardly wear makeup and I didn't pay much attention to my appearance. But still, that's not something you say to someone older than you when you first meet. Looking back, I think Sarah makes comments that people are sensitive about to measure their reactions and decide how to treat them afterward. At that moment, I was too surprised to get angry and could only say, "Oh, really?" Saying something like, "What's with that? And isn't that a bit rude?" She might have changed how she would treat me afterward. Sarah's attitude isn't just a problem with me. You have quite a bit of gray hair, don't you? Aren't you going to dye it? Oh, you don't have kids? Your old age will be lonely. Aren't you a bit overweight? Every new part-time housewife who joins faces this kind of welcome from Sarah. Most people try to laugh it off to avoid causing trouble. I did the same. This only encouraged Sarah to become more and more arrogant. The staff consists of the manager and 3 male employees, but Sarah pretends to be sweet and innocent in front of them. Our restaurant has the male employees making sushi behind the counter, so they can't see everything that happens in the back during business hours. It's hard to notice when Sarah bullies newcomers in the back. Even though her makeup is thick, she's quite attractive. So when she flirts or asks for help, the men don't seem to mind. Sarah often avoids punishment and blames for her behavior. Or maybe the staff just didn't want to upset the senior part-timer, who had been there longer than the manager. Several part-timers quit because they were so frustrated by this. Sarah dislikes younger women, and she frustrates them. It's the teenage girls who join as part-time workers who suffer. You are completely useless. You can't even do this and still expect to get paid? That's just shameless. Instead of wasting time putting on makeup, you should be learning your job. This kind of harassment led many high school girls to quit. In contrast, Sarah was exceptionally kind to the high school boys working part-time. Sarah was in charge of serving customers, operating the cash register, and serving alcohol. I worked in the kitchen, so I rarely had to interact with her. Our work schedules didn't overlap much, so I wasn't directly affected. But I felt sorry for the people who worked with her in the hall. I've seen high school girls crying in the break room many times. What's wrong? Almost every time they mentioned Sarah. I tried to comfort them, but most of them ended up quitting anyway. The manager often complained how we couldn't retain part-timers or part-time workers. I casually brought up Sarah in a conversation once.
But she's good at her job. Instead of hiring 3 new people, it's easier for her to run the hall by herself, so it's complicated.
I understood his dilemma. Sarah is competent, which made her even more arrogant. Even the manager was careful around her, treating her like a queen. One day, while I was in the break room, the manager approached me.
Nora, can I have a word with you?
I had a feeling it wouldn't be a pleasant conversation. He brought up Sarah.
Sarah's perfume is really strong lately. We've been getting customer complaints.
Everyone had noticed the increase in her perfume's intensity compared to before. You could tell she was in the break room just by opening the door. Strong perfumes aren't welcomed at sushi or noodle restaurants.
Nora, could you softly warn her about it?
Why me? If anyone should talk to her, it should be you as the manager.
It's easier when it's between women. There won't be as much conflict. You're also older than her.
Sarah tends to take offense no matter what is said to her. The manager, who is tall, thin, and seems weak, seemed genuinely troubled by this issue, but I didn't want to confront Sarah myself. I don't think she'd listen to me. I refused, but the manager kept asking me again and again. I had no choice but to agree. I've always had a hard time refusing when someone asked me for a favor. This tendency has led me to trouble many times before, but I couldn't change. The next day, Sarah and I were scheduled to work together, so I thought I'd finish this unpleasant task quickly. After changing in the locker room, I approached Sarah, who was touching up her makeup in the break room. Apart from us, there was a high school boy working part-time named Mark. Hey, Sarah, can I talk to you for a moment?
What is it?
Sarah, you use perfume, right?
Yes, I do. Why?
Well, in a sushi or noodle restaurant, strong scents are generally discouraged.
Why do I have to listen to you suddenly talking to me like this?
As expected, she took a confrontational position. Just then,
Yeah, I've thought that it smells a bit strong. I'm sensitive to the smell of detergent too.
Sarah froze, shocked by the unexpected comment from Mark.
The other day, a customer told me, can you do something about her smell? It seems the manager received complaints too.
I should probably be grateful that Mark said this, though Sarah walked out of the break room with a tense face and slammed the door behind her.
Oh man, I really couldn't handle that smell. To be honest, her makeup smell is also a bit much.
Mark's straightforward comments seemed to have caused much more damage to Sarah than anything I could have said.
It's true that it would be hard to eat in the small break room with such a strong perfume smell. By the way, employees can get sushi at half price.
The next day, Sarah's perfume was noticeably reduced, and the manager discreetly thanked me. However, the harassment I received from Sarah afterward was not worth it, especially since it was Mark who made the damaging comments.
You're a bit slow on the orders. The customers complain to the hall staff, you know. Don't be so slow. Just because you're old, don't get satisfied. Your plating looks old and lacks taste.
Even though the speed and presentation of the dishes hadn't changed, she kept demanding faster service. Frying times are fixed, so it's impossible to serve immediately. If I served undercooked meals, there would be even more complaints. Sarah knows this very well, so her attitude is quite unpleasant. It was a daily frustration, but one day, a high school girl from the hall staff suddenly had to take an urgent leave. With no replacement, the hall was short-staffed, and I had to help out. Since I usually work in the kitchen, I was somehow inexperienced with hall duties. But I managed to work through until closing without any trouble.
Thank you, Nora. You were a big help.
Thanks for the help, but because of you, the customers complained a lot. It's not like you belong in the hall anyway. With your age, body type, and fashion sense, you're totally unfit. Not dyeing your gray hair, you're finished as a woman. I never want to become an old woman like you.
Sarah said this in front of everyone while we were preparing to close, freezing the atmosphere in the room. Sure, I'm a bit old-fashioned and slightly overweight, but I wasn't responsible for the fashion aspect since I was helping wearing a kitchen uniform. Maybe she was referring to my attire at the commuting time. I usually wear a disposable cap in the kitchen, so my hair and style are somewhat neglected. Recently, natural gray hair has become more acceptable. After freezing the atmosphere, Sarah finished tidying her area and left quickly. Mark, the high school student, said,
You're much better than that old lady with thick makeup.
And other part-timers and students agreed, which made me feel a bit better. Still, I was somewhat disheartened. My husband is not fond of women who wear makeup. When we started dating, I also wore makeup, but he told me,
I don't like women wearing makeup. I think you look better without makeup.
I wasn't very confident to begin with, so I stopped wearing makeup. I've used slightly better basic skincare products, but since I naturally have a plain face, I wonder if I look like an old woman as I age. The next day, I was scheduled to work with Sarah again. I was worried about it, then Sarah said,
Hey Nora, how about I recommend you a good beauty salon, or maybe a good plastic surgeon?
Her irritating smile made me angry right away. I didn't expect her to be so hostile right after yesterday. And do you really know much about plastic surgeons? I guess she didn't expect that I'd talk her back.
Oh, not really.
Sarah was clearly confused. While many people now casually get minor plastic surgeries like some of part-time high school girls' students, it still feels a bit taboo for older generations. The next day, as I was off from part-time work to visit a familiar beauty salon for a change of pace. Without being introduced by Sarah, I know a salon a friend from high school runs. It is famous for good service.
It's been a while, Nora. You only come here about once every 6 months.
She welcomed me with open arms. Since we are friends from high school, we still call with nickname each other.
How about changing your hairstyle? You've had the same style for over 10 years.
I am told every time I visit her salon. My hair is straight semi-long. Liz calls it lazy long hair. It's difficult to manage long hair and dry it properly. Short hair can be troublesome too, and you need to come to the salon regularly. Since I started to work at a sushi restaurant, I asked her to keep long enough to be tied up at the back. Since we know each other very well, I wanted to share a recent frustrating event with her.
What happened? That woman sounds annoying. Should I go to the sushi restaurant and make a complaint just to punish her?
She's mad at her, but she also lectured me.
But she's right about some things. Nora, my friend, you don't care enough. You don't wear makeup, and while gray hair is okay, it can make you look older. If your hair turned completely white, it might look beautiful.
But I already passed that stage.
What are you saying? Just leave it to me.
After finishing my usual haircut, she did makeup for me.
See, it makes quite a difference, right? Nora, it's good that you use quality skincare products. Your skin looks great as you don't wear makeup.
My impression is a little different now, sharp and experienced madam. I'm impressed with her skills.
We are entering into 100-year-old era. It's not yet time for you to look old. Let's get you looking great for now.
I felt encouraged by her words and bought some makeup products on my way home. But if I tried to make up by myself, it didn't go well at all. I couldn't know what was wrong. After trying, I decided to ask Liz for her help.
Great! If you bring the makeup products and your usual skincare products to the shop after closing at 7 p.m., I'll guide you through how to use them.
Thank you for her friendship. I prepared dinner for my husband and left a note that I would visit Sarah.
First, let's start by shaving your face.
She placed a warm towel on my face. It feels so relaxing.
Even though you're not supposed to use a razor as a professional, it's fine since we're friends and not working.
She applied some gel and carefully shaved my face.
I'll get your eyebrows done too.
I thought what a nice feeling it was to have someone touch my face.
Oh, you're using good quality toner, lotion, and moisturizer.
After shaving my face, she is applying my skincare products now.
Oh no, the makeup colors don't match your skin tone. I see you haven't bought any concealer. No face powder, lip liner, gloss, highlighter, or shading.
I guess makeup products have evolved a lot while I wasn't maintaining.
Earlier we were in a hurry, so the makeup was quick, but this time I'm going for a full makeup look.
Liz helped by providing what was missing and explained each step while doing the makeup. It took an hour. I used to take only about 15 minutes when I did my own makeup back in the day. I was shocked. I didn't realize that proper makeup could take so long.
Yeah, high school girls probably know better.
I got laughed at.
Hey, since we're at it, why not try a bigger makeover? I think you look better with short hair. Let's also do a color treatment.
Since my friend had gone this far to help, I decided to go along with it.
Yay! Making a customer look beautiful is a joy for a hairstylist. Nora, you have a lot of hair and a great head shape, so short hair will definitely suit you. Alright, I'll cut and color your hair. There we go, makeover complete.
Liz proudly said this as she finished. Is this really me? I never imagined I'd end up saying one of those lines from a girl's cartoon. Looking in the mirror, I was amazed at how different I looked. With feminine short hair and a light brown hair color, I felt renewed. Makeup is really powerful. The hair is also fantastic.
Of course, I am a pro.
But I mentioned earlier that I still need to be able to do makeup by myself.
Here's the makeup procedure and estimated time on paper. Make sure to take your time, at least 10 minutes. I wrote down the timing because I know you might rush it. I've known you for a long time, so I understand your personality well.
With that, Liz patted me on the back. Thank you so much for today. I'll treat you next time.
Let's go out for drinks, and let me know how your coworkers react to your new look.
It was quite late by the time I got home. My husband, who was watching TV after dinner, noticed me.
Hey, who's that? Oh, Nora? I thought I said I didn't like women with makeup, but wow, you look really beautiful. You look so young and different. I'm surprised.
Getting it done by a professional makes a huge difference. If it turns out like this, maybe I don't mind makeup after all.
Yeah, it can be good. I never thought I'd get excited about my wife at over 60.
My husband's slightly embarrassed compliment was the best praise I could get. Since I worked morning shift the next day, I used the afternoon to buy the missing makeup products with Liz's notes in hand. Liz also gave me another piece of advice. I went to a lingerie store for the first time in my life.
Nora, you have big breasts, so while bralettes are comfortable, you should wear a proper bra,
she said. After trying on bras that were fitted to my body at the store, I felt well supported and my posture was better. The official measurement turned out to be a cup size E. I regretted a little that if I had been wearing the right size bras when I was younger, maybe I wouldn't have lost so much firmness. The perfectly fitting bras were quite expensive, and I spent a lot on makeup too, but I worked hard to make up for it with my part-time job. The next day was Saturday. Stores get crowded on weekends and holidays, so there are a lot of part-timers working shifts. I thought if I was going to make a move, it had to be today, so I got up 2 hours earlier than usual, did my makeup carefully with Liz's notes in hand. By the way, when my husband saw me in the new bra, he gave me a slightly outdated compliment saying,
I didn't know you were so glamorous.
Good morning.
Wow, who's that? Oh, Nora? Is that really you? You look amazing.
Wow, Nora, you look incredible. Is that really you, Nora? You look fantastic.
After changing into uniforms, everyone spent time in the break room before their shifts. Since it was Saturday, many staff members were on duty, creating quite a commotion. Suddenly, I noticed Sarah staring at me with an angry look. Then Mark said,
Nora, you look amazing. You look younger than Sarah.
Sarah was mad and said,
That's just because an old woman put a lot of makeup.
Dissatisfied boomerang,
Mark whispered, so one of the high school girls burst out laughing, and soon everyone around started laughing too. Apparently, boomerang means that action taken to attack others end up backfiring on oneself. I wasn't sure if Sarah knew this meaning, but she left the break room with a red face. That was refreshing.
Good job on the boomerang.
After that, the break room was lively, and it became clear that Sarah was really disliked. That day, another incident happened. A male customer started shouting and causing a scene. I could hear parts of it from the kitchen. There were sounds of dishes breaking and the customer shouting about hitting someone.
You stole my wife. Come out from there.
It was a dangerous situation. I was told to call the police, so I did. When I thought Sarah was just silently looking pale, I found out that she had followed the man being taken away. It turned out that Sarah's husband had come to confront the situation after discovering the relationship between Sarah and the store manager. The store manager, who was in his late 40s, had a family. On that day and the following Sunday, the store operated as if nothing had happened, but everyone seemed eager to talk about the incident. Sarah didn't come to work on Sunday after following her husband, and when I came in for the early shift on Monday, I saw an unfamiliar man in his 30s. He was the new store manager, and the previous manager had been transferred to a branch in another city.
I'm sure you can guess what happened. Due to these events, Sarah also left. Let's start fresh and work together to make the store better.
When the new manager said this, there was a small round of applause. During lunch break that day, we had a lively discussion about the previous manager and Sarah. It seems that there are often issues when relationships between employees and part-timers or housewives are discovered at other stores. When such things are discovered, there are usually penalties. I heard that the former manager was divorced by his wife and was seen at a local supermarket. I also heard that he looked small after being scolded by a senior part-timer despite his tough attitude. The store's atmosphere improved a lot, and we no longer had part-timers or staff quitting because of issues with Sarah. I continued to make an effort with my makeup, even though I rarely had days off due to working on weekends. When I did get a day off, I would dress up and go out with my husband.
I wish I could have seen Sarah's face. Sarah was 45, so looking younger than that means she looked 15 years younger.
Liz said this while ordering another beer. In that case, I guess I should be grateful to you for encouraging all this.
That's fine, as long as you treat me. Oh, and that high school student was great too.
Liz took a big gulp of her beer. I really do appreciate Mark. I'm thinking of bringing him some snacks next time.